Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Rossignol 1. It got a little bit of an overhaul for 2022. This board features Rossignol's AmpTech All Mountain Camber Profile, which is 50% camber with 25% rocker in the nose and the tail. Basically, it's cam rocker. This is going to give you that load and pop and drive of traditional camber through the feet, but you're going to have that rocker out in the tip and the tail, which is going to give you more optimal powder float, a little bit easier to press, and ease of entry in and out of turns. This board is available in 153, 156, 159, 157 wide, 161 wide, 165 wide. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on an overcast day with high visibility. There was low winds, it was cooler temps, there was perfect corduroy with light snow on top of that. Then there was heavy pow off the runs and chunder in the trees, and I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. This board has just passed a middle of the road all mountain freestyle flex to it. Basically, they beefed it up from last year's version. So what you have is slightly softer tips, then it stiffens up through that midsection and it's noticeably stiffer with a moderate amount of torsional flex to it. You can twist it and do what you need, but it's not overwhelming or underperforming. And when it comes to stability, you do get some chatter out in the tips. It's completely gone by the time it would hit right underfoot. You basically have that completely deadened out now. And when you get into rutted out terrain with this thing, it doesn't get knocked around. It pushes through everything with ease. It doesn't want to buck. It doesn't want to just wash out on you. It just wants to plow through everything and keep on going on its path. For 2022, they added more camber to this board, and that changes the snap in it, in my opinion. It moves the actuation point so that when you do load it up, and it engages that rocker, it gives it more of a skate-like pop, but you're still loading that camber section through the middle, so when it's loaded, it's just going to give a little bit more spring off the tail or off the nose if you do a nollie. And with that said, this board has enough pop that what you put in is exactly what you get out of it. It's not lacking in any way, shape, or form. You can ollie off a side hit, roller, cat track gap, over a family of fat skier people, you know, it will get the job done. It's a little bit more reactive in how it rebounds now with that longer camber section. And when it comes to jumps, like I said, what you put in is what you get out. It can handle small, medium, large now. This board feels at home coming off the lip. It gets you in the air. It's not really what it's designed for as an all-mountain freestyle board. Like, I tend to think that this lends itself more to the all-mountain category, but when you're in the park, it can hold its own if you need it to. What's nice about this board is that rocker in the nose and the tail. That's where you're going to want to get your weight kind of right in the middle of that, just to lock in and feel those presses on the snow. It does so with relative ease. You're not really fighting it, but it retains that snap due to that camber in the middle. So when you get on the tail, you can pop out of it. When you pop into the nose doing a 180, you can pop right back out. You go sideways, you want to pop, you can. Basically, you can pop. It doesn't fight you. You don't have to worry about it. Now, when it comes to jibbing on this board, it locks in. You can notice right away that that rocker section just lets you balance right outside that camber zone. So you just got your weight there, you're holding that nose press or that tail press, and it'll go through the feature but still retain that snap. And when you get sideways, you have this longer camber zone, which just gives you a little bit more area to lock in. And this board, it doesn't fully cradle or hug the feature. It's almost like it's a sweet, slow embrace, and it's still kind of balancing on top of it, so you just feel locked in. You're able to slide right through the feature and then retain that snap back out of it. I would say that a little bit of speed goes a long way when you jib on this thing, so just be aware of that. By them adding more camber to this board and changing the serrations on their edge tech, it changes the dynamic of how this board carves. It's less likely to let you center flex it and really push into it, but it's going to give you more drive out of the carve. So how does it actually carve? It transitions smoothly from edge to edge. You'll notice that right away. But when you engage it outside that front foot and you're steering it in, you're going to be able to disengage it more and drive harder through the center of that board, especially off the tail. This is just going to change the dynamic of the carve and allow you to swoop from one side of the trail to the other. And that edge tack takes over with that grip between the feet and helps you with that. It gives you a more locked in feel to it. Now, with that said, you do lose some of that power dynamic for when you really lay this board over on edge, like when you're trying to drag your whole body across the ground, lay a deep Euro carve. That's where you lose it. That's the limitations on this board. And there are limitations, you'll notice that with it. But those short, tight, quick carves to those medium swooping ones, there's no problem with this. It feels more secure. It feels like it's just gonna push through everything in its path. It's only when you fully lay it over, like I said, that you notice that this board doesn't engage how the previous iterations have. Who's this board for? The all-mountain freestyle rider. It's nice to see them revamp this board, as last year's model was probably the worst version of this board that I've ever ridden from them. This board, while you lose some of the playfulness, you gain more power, you gain more drive, and you gain better edge control and edge hold with it. With that said, sure, you got to be a little more calculated with things, but that's what this board should be. It's an all-mountain freestyle board. It's got a brand new shape. That up kick in the tip is a little bit better for riding pow. It funnels it out because it's coupled with that rocker out there. You get a little bit more drive from the middle of the board, which is nice because you get that snap that you absolutely do want with something like this. Overall, this is a way better version of this board compared to last year's. Comparable boards: the Solomon Assassin, the Jones Mountain Twin, the K2 Broadcast. Binding recommendations: the Rome Katana, the Burton Cartel, the Now Brigade. This has been my review of the Rossignol 1. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.